The meal is not what makes the Happy Meal happy. It's all about the toys. Those glorious, surprisingly well-made and collectible toys. Most of them were amazing, but some were disappointing. Here are some of the best and worst Happy Meal toys ever made. Not only were Hot Wheels some of the first hugely successful Happy Meal toys, they stuck around. According to Complex, Hot Wheels showed up around 15 different times in the first 25 years of Happy Meals alone.
We're here at the McDonald's Speedway, where the Hot Wheels are hot, hot, hot.
For this love affair, Hot Wheels first hooked up with the Happy Meal in 1983, and the first toys were actually very high-quality painted metal cars. In the 90s, they switched to plastic, but kept the coolness. Nowadays, the Hot Wheels designed for McDonald's are made specifically for the company. The retro Hot Wheels from 1983 can now be found on eBay for up to $30, and the newer models come with a variety of tracks in that iconic Hot Wheel orange, including tight turns and ramps. When Transformers came on the toy scene in the 1980s, McDonald's made sure to jump on that morphing robot bandwagon. Thus, the McDonald's Happy Meal food changeables were born, along with the backstory. The premise is that the Munchoids are stealing all the Happy Meals from Earth, and the food changeables need to stop them. The robot named Fry comes up with the clever idea to shrink down and duplicate themselves so that everyone will get one in their Happy Meal and the Munchoids will be defeated.
In the hands of your innocent children, hotcakes become Robo-Cakes!
The robots were released several times in the 80s and 90s and eventually came in the shapes of different burgers, drinks, fries, chicken McNuggets, ice cream cones, hotcakes, and the Egg McMuffin. With a few flips, they become little robots with colorful faces. These were popular enough to inspire a spin-off that featured dinosaurs and the Happy Meal box itself as a disguise. There was one time the McDonald's Happy Meal was maybe too good. In the 1990s, Beanie Babies were all the rage, and McDonald's won the opportunity to collaborate with Beanie Babies owner Ty Warner to create the McDonald's Happy Meal Teenie Beanies collection in 1997. The slightly smaller toys came in the same cute animal shapes with adorable names. It was pandemonium. Despite the insanity these tiny collectibles spawned, the Teenie Beanies aren't actually worth that much today. A set of 10 mint-in-package beanies from 1997 cost less than $30 on Amazon. Just like Hot Wheels, Beanie Babies have stuck around in Happy Meals, but they've evolved quite a bit. They're now called Teenie Beanie Boos, and you've probably seen them around without realizing their famous ancestors. The 2019 collection came in rainbow colors with a very Lisa Frank-styled color palette. These 1984 pullback cars might seem simple, but this Happy Meal toy was not only successful at entertaining kids, it also introduced them to the fun characters of McDonaldland. These Happy Meal toys were inspired by the popular penny racers. McDonald's version of the toy was very similar, but they took out the penny component and added a weight at the back of the car instead. They also added the toys to an already popular ad campaign. In the 1970s, McDonald's had devised an advertising campaign known as McDonaldland, which was a fictional land where Ronald McDonald and his cohort of food-based characters lived. Some of the most famous characters included the Hamburglar and Bertie the Early Bird, who was introduced in the 1980s with McDonald's new breakfast menu items. Some of the most impressive Happy Meal toys have been glorified advertisements for movies, such as the case for the Inspector Gadget collection of 1999. These toys are based on a film featuring Matthew Broderick, in which a security guard is blown up and then put back together again with various robot features with crime-fighting capabilities. The genius of the Happy Meal collection was that while each toy could function on its own, they could also be assembled into a full-sized, working Inspector Gadget action figure. The toys were also remarkably high quality, with fun creative features and a face that actually resembles Broderick. Each individual piece was completed with intricate detail and color, and when they came together, Inspector Gadget's limbs could extend, move around, and turn. This toy was aggressively cool, especially considering it came free with a meal. For example, if you pressed down on Inspector Gadget's head, it would cause a spark in the center of his chest. His left arm worked as a mini grabber, and his right arm was a spiffy water gun. His legs, which could extend him to roughly a foot tall, were a snazzy green laser pointer and a pair of pliers. Then, of course, there was the propeller hat, which sounded like a real-life helicopter when spun. Similar to Hot Wheels, My Little Pony and the Happy Meal have had a mutually beneficial relationship for years. One of the most recognizable McDonald's toys to this day, My Little Pony first debuted in 1982 and became a Happy Meal toy in 1985. The toy spawned an animated series and movie, which boosted the toy's popularity throughout the 1990s. The 1997 Happy Meal collection wowed kids with brushable tails and manes, intricate decals, and heads that could actually turn. Although the design of My Little Pony has changed since then, the toy has maintained huge popularity, with help from its 2010 reboot show, My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. The 90s was the decade of the Disney Renaissance, starting with The Little Mermaid in 1989 and ending with Tarzan in 1999. Near the end of this era was Hercules, and the Happy Meal figures released in 1997 were some of the best. Hercules himself came with a sword and a shield, and his arms could move up and down for real fighting action. The purple Hydra was hollow and could be popped open for a secret hiding spot. Also available were Meg, Pegasus, the Titans, and various gods. Each figure was extremely detailed and well painted, and many came with moving parts. This attention to detail is something you'll also see in other Disney-inspired Happy Meal figurines, like those made for The Lion King, Mulan, and The Hunchback of Notre Dame. The best thing about the McDonald's Happy Meal was the toy, so imagine children's disappointment when they got a bucket instead. As an alternative to the traditional Happy Meal box, McDonald's sometimes gave out their meals in these colorful Halloween-themed pails in the shapes of ghosts, pumpkins, and witches. They debuted in the Halloween season of 1986, but would stick around until 2016, coming back each fall. It seems like a cool idea, but children still expected there to be a toy in the pail, and there wasn't. The bucket itself was supposed to be the toy, yet many complained that it was too small for much use in trick-or-treating. Over the years, the buckets would change, but they could never get over one major hurdle. A bucket is not a toy. Some versions of the bucket, however, did try to spice things up. The ghost in the 1990 version glowed in the dark, and the 1992 versions had cookie-cutter lids. Sure, they were festive and fun in their way, but in terms of the playability, they fell pretty flat. Believe it or not, there are kids who do not like camping. Camp gear, especially cheaply made, ugly camp gear, would not have met those children's expectations of a toy, especially not a Happy Meal toy. But that's what kids got in 1990. In an effort to tie in with the fictional camp McDonaldland, McDonald's Happy Meals included a set of camping gear that would be less than helpful in any real-life camping situations. There was a plastic frying pan, some plastic utensils, and a small water bottle that didn't hold much water. Worst of all might have been the collapsible cup, which barely looked McDonald's related until closer inspection. McDonald's has found a lot of success over the years partnering with Disney on its Happy Meal toys, but one undeniable failure was the gold-plated Little Mermaid figures. These 1997 toys were clearly meant to be collected rather than played with. They were blasted with an inexplicable bronze paint that obscured Ariel's delicate facial features and made Scuttle look like a bird caught in a nasty oil spill. Even more confusing, Ursula was the only character who wasn't a proper figurine at all, but rather an inflatable doll. She was also the only one that wasn't covered in paint. All this is in contrast to the earlier 1989 version of the Little Mermaid Happy Meal toys. These were painted with bright, realistic colors and were meant to be played with in water, making them a popular bath time toy. Probably a more apt name for this toy would have been the McDonald's Misstep. In an effort to promote healthy lifestyles, McDonald's released a pedometer as its Happy Meal toy in 2016. As CNN reports, this decision was controversial from the start, as some nutritionists saw it as a ploy to divert customers' attention away from the unhealthy nature of McDonald's food. The toy itself wasn't too terrible to look at. It was designed to look like a watch with brightly colored neon straps. They featured a motion-activated light-up band and an activity counter, and overall they looked pretty cool. But not only were they a bit misguided in principle, they were also dangerous. After the Step-It was released, parents began reporting that the watches were causing burns and skin irritation. This led to McDonald's issuing a huge recall of the product. Unfortunately for some, the experience of this terrible toy was already burned into both skin and memory. Unlike some of the other items on this list, at least these are actually toys. They are well-painted, collectible figurines that even come with changeable outfits. But other than being a highly collectible way to showcase one's love of Chicken McNuggets, these aren't exactly fun to play with. It all started in 1988 with the original, non-spooky McNugget Buddies, which were anthropomorphic Chicken McNuggets that came with different faces and outfits. The outfits were interchangeable, giving the McNugget Buddies a kind of Mr. Potato Head vibe. They were odd, and clearly a way to advertise a food product, but just clever and silly enough to become a fairly popular toy that still holds a lot of nostalgic value. McDonald's even re-released the retro toy in 2019 to celebrate the Happy Meal's 40th anniversary. However, while the original McNugget Buddies had endeared themselves to kids in 1988, by the time McDonald's came out with the Halloween McNugget Buddies in 1993, many of the children were left confused about what to do with them. After a 5-year hiatus, they were clearly targeting a previous generation of Happy Meal lovers. While characters like McNuggula and McBoo Nugget were interesting to unpack and swap outfits with, without the memory of the original McNugget Buddies, this toy was quickly forgotten at the bottom of the toy bin. These are not just ugly, but also kind of terrifying. Also, since when were sunglasses a toy? The worst thing about it all was the sheer laziness of slapping a McDonald's character onto a basic accessory item. Even worse, kids were expected to act as walking, talking advertisements for the company without a proper toy in return. Although characters like Grimace and the Fry Guys weren't terrible in and of themselves, this thoughtless use of the characters was insulting to both the Happy Meal legacy and customers. This toy makes the list of worst Happy Meal toys because it is on one hand controversial and on the other hand just incredibly annoying. In 2015, McDonald's released a collection of talking Minions based on the Minions film from the same year. One of the Minions fell under particular scrutiny, with many parents claiming they could hear it saying the F word.
What do you think this little Minion toy is saying?
McDonald's refuted the claim, saying that the Minion was speaking Minionese, the gibberish language from the movies that sounds kind of, but not exactly, like real words. Regardless of whether the Minion is swearing or not, imagine hearing that chatty, distorted Minion recording over and over and over again. Whether you love it, hate it, or think it may be profane, the caveman-themed Minion lives on in infamy. Check out one of our newest videos right here. Plus, even more mashed videos about your favorite fast food chains are coming soon. Subscribe to our YouTube channel and hit the bell so you don't miss a single one.